Hello and welcome to the What's Good with Gil and Larry podcast on the Box Office Buzz 302 channel. I am here with my main man, Larry Loper, and we are coming to you live on this Tuesday night. What is it? June the 3rd already?
June
Wow.
3rd, half the year.
Already. We did not have a show last week. We were on hiatus. It was right after the holiday. I hope everybody had a good Memorial Day weekend. I'm not really going to say a good Memorial Day because it sounds weird. Memorial Day, we're kind of remembering those who have fallen in combat for our country. Want to thank everybody who has served, continues to serve, and will serve. Want to say thank you. It is a privilege to have you representing me and my family and my friends each and every day. So thank you for your service and your sacrifice. Thank you very much. Now, listen, it was a good weekend. A couple weekends ago, my man Larry came over the crib. We watched Reservoir Dogs. It was the first time he had ever seen it.
Yeah.
Quentin Tarantino's in our wheelhouse. And listen, we've got sports to talk about. We know who's going to be in the NBA Finals. We know who's going to be in the NHL Final. And listen, NFL is always working. So let's get at it. Let's start with the NBA. And before we talk about the actual finals, the big thing that happened just today, your New York Knicks are looking for a new head coach. I thought there was a chance this might happen, but I thought it was less than 50-50. I thought it was like 40-60 they would let him go. Well, they let him go. Tom Thibodeau, you're gone. You're out of here. I want to know your thoughts. This is your team. Me, real quick. To me, it just came down to him not trusting his bench, kind of not evolving. This is who he's always been, going with like an 8-man rotation, but playing too much minutes with the starters. He was like that with the Bulls. He was like that with who was it before the Bulls?
Minnesota.
Memphis? Well, no, Minnesota, right?
Minnesota.
Minnesota, and then again with the Knicks. He's reluctant to go to his bench, and it just looks like the team passes out. Yeah, they have a few big comebacks here and there, but I think what happened was there were excuses why they lost last year to the Pacers. There were excuses. Injury, they were losing. It seemed like they were losing a guy a game.
Mm-hmm.
But this year, they were healthy. They had home court, which was not expected. And they were trailing the whole series. They blew game 1 when they had a 20-point lead. Game 2, okay, they legit lost. They won 3, lost 4. They won, I believe they won 5, but then they lost 6, and then it was over. They were playing from behind. I think Halliburton and Siakam, they had great series. I think the only bad game Halliburton had was game 5, I believe. But and that's probably what cost them getting the Eastern Conference Larry Bird MVP, because he had that one game. But for them to win or at least make it a series, he has to play great. He has to play great. He can't have a subpar game. No. So before we get into the finals, what are your thoughts on Thibodeau being let go? Were you surprised, and how are you feeling, and who's going to replace him? Because I got 3 candidates.
First, I want to say no, I'm not surprised about the firing at all, and I'm gonna give my reasons why. But I gotta give him credit for being able to really build our culture again and get us back to at least we're formidable. I got to thank the front office, and I thank Tibbs for at least bringing some sort of identity back to the Garden and bringing that feel. Obviously, we scored a major asset when we got Jalen Brunson. We made a trade to get Cat with the thought of maybe that was a piece was going to get us over the edge, which I didn't agree with that at all, because one thing about Karl Anthony Towns that we all can agree is just that he plays soft. He plays soft. One thing about Julius Randle, he played physical. He just didn't play big when you need him in the big moments. You know what I mean? And he was never supposed to be the guy you built the team around. Okay. So being said all that, the way we lost game 6, we got out coached. Plain and simple. We got out coached in game 6. And that was plain and simple. For a team, for a coach that's a defensive minded team, how did we get beat so bad defensively? It's like I was explaining to my partner. I was like, you play pickup basketball game. It's a real simple thing. I'm not even gonna make it complex, right? Sometimes you play this basketball, you'll have, like, I make, say you on one team side of the team, on the other side of the team, right? I make a play to the basket, boom, make my layup. On your team, you might have that one guy that's always leaking back. He's not playing no defense. He's going to be at the half court. So as soon as I make my bucket, it's a quick outlet, easy points. Eventually, if I'm on this team, me, the guy that they're doing this against, I'm going to have to make adjustments. Okay. So for me, I'm like, hold up, man. This dude have made 4 or 5 easy buckets cherry picking. No, sir. I'm going to stick at the half court line just to make sure I don't get beat on the back end. Did you not see how they played game 6? It was a clear plan how they came out. Need mine, wherever that dude name is, that was glued to Jalen Brunson like his jersey, right? We already seen now that's that the adjustment's going to be made. I'm not going to let Jalen Brunson get off, okay? I don't care about you scoring near Nemhard. I don't care about you scoring. If you do score, cool. But for now, I need you to make sure that Jalen Brunson earns every bucket he gets. Okay? So if I'm a coach and I see that's the game plan. 2 things either going to happen, Gil. And I don't get paid to coach. I'm just saying it's kind of simple, right? And I'm going to do double screens at to free up Jalen Brunson, double screens high, right? So if them double screens are looking for a pick and roll action. I'm looking for Cat to be the pick and roll. Or I'm going to say, look, man, big fella, I'm going to need you tonight. Once I see how they playing me, timeout, look, scratch whatever we thought we was going to do. This is what we're going to do. Because Miles Turner can't do nothing with you to paint, okay? I don't need you driving from the 3-point arc to the basket. And honestly, it's a charge if they step up and take it. It's a charge. He's out of control, okay? So for me, I'm like, all right, big fella, I just need you to post on that box. We're going to go through you. Since Miles Turner can't stop you, scouting reports already proven this, right? If you abuse him 3, 4, 5 times in a row, right? What's going to happen? I'm going to have to cheat, bring another guy over, right? Which is going to free up my shooters. So now, yeah, you can play that Jalen Brunson game, but Mikal Bridges, we paid you all this freaking money. We gave up all them trade values for you, just for you not to show up when we need you the most. I don't care, man. You're supposed to shut Siakam down. That part. Let's make a switch. Yo, you're a defensive specialist, right? You're a stopper. That's why we brought you on, right? Villanova guy, right? Okay, cool. I want Siakam. Pascal's not going to beat me, okay? I need you to be stuck to him like Nimrod was on freaking Jalen Brunson. And I know I jacked his name up because he felt like Nimrod to me. You hear me? All right. So being that Tibbs did not make the adjustments. This is a 6. Like you said, we had home court advantage. We blew the first game, clearly blew it. Okay? Clearly. Second game, they beat us. Cool. Third game, we came back and barely beat them, right? We knew they were going to come out with energy. We knew it was like we got past the Garden, and the fans might have said it's Knicks in 7, but I don't think we believed it was going to be Knicks in 7. Okay? So being that's the case, and that you didn't make the adjustments, you're not an offensive-minded coach. We have weapons on here, but we're not defensively sound like Oklahoma City is, right? What is the purpose of me keeping you here for another year? I don't think that you can make the adjustments to get it done, honestly. We need fresh eyes, fresh meat. We need fresh, just a fresh moxie, all right? We got the foundation. It's sort of like Steve Kerr going to Golden State. Not going to put him on that level, but it's sort of like Steve Kerr. He was the missing piece to that championship team because Mark Jackson's in front office built the team, but Steve Kerr was able to come in, tweak a little bit. Now you got champions. Okay.
Or like Phil Jackson going to the Bulls.
LA.
He replaced Doug Collins.
Yes.
In Chicago.
In Chicago. You're right. Came in, little tweaking in the front office, or pieces already being made. You come in, Zen master, now you got champions, right? So I believe that we need that. We need that. Now you're saying what candidates is out there, right? You said you got 3 off top, right? I
Mhm.
heard Jeff Van Gundy name being thrown out there. I don't.
That's not one that
I
I'm.
wouldn't go. I wouldn't go back there. I don't believe in X's. It's like an X. X is for a reason. Exit. Don't re-enter. Okay. Um, Marriage went good, bad, forever. Who could I see coming there and coaching that team? They ain't gonna get Mark Jackson to play, and I don't think he want to coach anymore. But Mark Jackson would be a candidate of mine. Um,
Not me.
who are some good coaches out there, man? Nah, Billy Donovan ain't gonna get it done.
Oh,
Heck nah. Fresh coaches, fresh coaches. You need some young boys, some young eyes up in that joint. Oh, I like Mike Malone.
that's
I like
one.
Mike Malone. I like Mike Malone from Denver. I like him.
That's
Um,
one. That's one of my three.
Snyder's in Atlanta, so he's not going nowhere. Um, what's my man that was in? I don't think he'll be able to get it done though. I think my McMillan, Nate McMillan, but he can't get it done. He couldn't get it done where he was at.
How many times are you going to recycle the same guys?
Fresh eyes, fresh chances. Oh, I would like my man. I thought my man did a good job. I just think he had a bad. The guy that was in Milwaukee.
He's okay.
Yeah.
Not who I'm thinking of.
All right. Who you give me your 3?
Well, you named one, Mike Malone. Okay. What about Jay Wright? Since a lot of those players are Villanova players. Anyway,
You think he want to come back coaching in
I
NBA?
don't know. I don't know, but money makes money and a challenge. And it's the next level.
It is. That's what I'm saying. I don't know if that could
It's
translate
the
up.
itch that he's got to scratch, like Patino needed to, and Calipari needed to. They needed to know. They needed to know. And Jay Wright, proven commodity in college,
Yeah.
has 3 guys that he coached. Less than a decade ago.
It's hard to translate that in the NBA, but that'd be a good name you could throw
I
out
mean,
there.
you could try it, and then let's stick with the college thing. Lakers couldn't get him, but maybe the Knicks can. What about Dan Hurley?
In New York, Dan
In
Hurley.
New York, he's from New Jersey. One of the reasons he didn't want to go to LA was to relocate.
That could be a possibility.
The Knicks will offer as much, if not more, than the Lakers did last offseason. Plus, the family gets to stay right where they are.
And who's gonna turn on the Knicks job?
I mean, that's
Mecca?
That's one of the meccas. New York, Boston, and
Yeah.
LA. Now he turned down LA, but that was on the other side of the country. Even Boston might be a little bit further than where he wants to go. But the Knicks, he's from Jersey City.
Yeah, that's a Coast Bridge, bro.
Yeah.
Of the turnpike, down turnpike.
Move back home. Move back home.
I like your candidates.
Leave Connecticut and move back home.
I like your candidates. Once again, I think translating up to the college to NBA is always. I don't know too many successful ones have done it.
Well, what do you consider success? Or are we talking championship, or are we talking like?
No, I'm just saying, no, not necessarily championships because you you don't get it chipped on me. You wasn't a good coach, you know. Let's tell about like a Larry Brown. Larry Brown did it, you know what I mean. But then Larry Brown did it.
Took a long time, but he did.
Yeah,
it.
definitely did. He did it. Yeah, in Detroit, he did get chipped in Detroit. Yeah, I would just say just you didn't get sent back down, or you was able to build some type of name in the upper level. Like I can't give Calipari that, I can't give Patino that. You know what I'm saying? Because they didn't have long runs. That's what I mean by success. As far as you had a long run and you just went from this team, that team, You kind of built your identity.
Well, Billy Donovan's done
Yeah,
it. He's had some
yeah.
success.
Well, Billy Donovan, I get Billy Donovan. That's the most recent one. I give him that. In the Thunder and I guess Chicago, but yeah, LaMelo ain't if Alonzo ain't go down, who knows?
Hmm.
Because he was a glue. Crazy. Now he was a glue of that team. Yeah.
Listen, what you don't want some of these other guys that have been recycled. You don't want Doc Rivers to find his way to New York.
Man, I definitely don't want no Doc Rivers.
You don't
No.
want that.
No.
You don't want that.
No.
So I tend to think because Thibodeau got fired 3 days after they got eliminated, makes me think they got somebody in mind.
Yeah. For you to go that fast, they're not gonna let them go that quick. They must have already been talking, I'm curious to see who they gonna bring in.
I think
it's gonna be an offensive minded coach though, whoever they bring in.
I think it's gonna be Mike Malone. That's who I think. I would rather have Jay Wright or Dan Hurley.
Yeah, I think Jay Wright would be a good fit with Jalen Brunson being your star. But
he knows New York. He just coached Villanova, which is just outside of Philadelphia. He can handle big markets.
That's a fact.
Everybody likes him. He's a very good coach.
That's a fact.
And maybe outside shot, maybe they allow coaches to start wearing suits again. Because he had some nice suits he was walking around with in college. I hate this new system where the college and NBA coaches, they're wearing like these gym suits now.
Yeah,
I hate it.
Yeah, it's.
Can you picture Chuck Daly and Pat Riley in those things?
No, we saw it in the Olympics.
Yeah, we saw it in the Olympics, but
Olympics,
Yeah, I hate it.
You talking about fall is like year round?
Yeah, like year round, like coaching a team, being on the bench.
Nah, once again though, back in them days, once back in the Jordan days, 80s, they dressed like men. My dad.
I don't even like it in the NFL. I liked when they wore suits, when the head coaches wore suits. I like seeing Dan Reeves wear a suit. I like that. I don't like these guys, wearing the jumpsuits and the jogging outfits and
Yeah, you know what? I guess
when
I was watching football, I didn't catch that era when they was wearing suits, man. Because I was watching football. Jimmy Johnson had he didn't wear a suit to the sideline.
He didn't wear a suit, but it was optional that he could. Don't you remember Dan Reeves in the 80s and 90s? He wore a suit every game.
No, for Denver?
Yeah. Denver and then the Giants. Yeah. And then in Atlanta, he started wearing.
Yeah, I remember in Atlanta.
Half and half.
Yeah, I remember Atlanta.
Yeah, Giants in Denver, especially Denver. He wore a suit every single game when he was in Denver.
Okay.
He didn't wear a suit every game with the Giants because in the winter it got real cold.
Yeah.
But he wore a suit.
I've been watching football. It was either the what they call the little polo shirts, and then they went to the hoodies.
Dude, what about your most famous head coach?
Landry, but that was in like the 70s, man.
And the 80s.
Yeah, that's like my popping era. Like, my dad's like a real man. I always say my dad was like a man, because he wore suits and shoes. And
I'm just saying, I want them to be able to bring that back. Jay Wright wears some sweet. They're not off the rack suits. They are not.
Yeah, I think at the basketball level, I'm so used to that. Yeah, I can agree with that. I think that the coach should be in the suits and stuff. I'm not tripping on the players. Players, you could be free. Wear what you want to wear after the game, and do what you gotta do. Some stuff is suspect.
I don't want to see a professional athlete wearing, a book bag and a T-shirt.
Yeah, that's what they do.
I think a pro should look like a pro. I'm not saying you got to wear a 3-piece suit, but you shouldn't look like, you just got out of elementary school.
Yeah.
That's my own personal opinion. To me, if I was a professional, you would know I'm a professional. I would look like money. My vehicle, my clothes, my jewelry. I mean, I would look like a professional.
I think
I would look like money. If I'm making, 10 million, 20 million, 30 million a year, I'm not going to just, during a press conference be like Kevin Durant and wearing, a white t-shirt and a book bag. I'm not doing that.
uh,
He can do that. That's, whatever. But, they weren't doing that in the 80s and 90s.
I don't know, man. I think because I came up in the era I came up with, I can understand it because I don't even wear that, man. I couldn't see me really suiting and booting it, man.
I don't wear it because I can't afford it. If I could afford a $5,000 suit, I'd be wearing it.
And I can see you in one, man. I mean, me personally, if I had the bread, I still probably wouldn't get suited and booted unless I had to go to like some super preppery function. I just feel comfortable in my attire, man. I like urban wear, so that's kind of what I like. You know what I mean? So I can understand like what you wear and what you want to wear. Feel me? Like I said, my dad and them, yeah. They'll say, "Oh man, it's presentable. You gotta look presentable." That's cool, bro. That's what you grew up on, man. You 80s baby. I mean, you
If
baby.
you're a professional athlete and you're, we'd be in like really good shape. I mean, everything will be custom for me, everything. And then if I gained a little weight or lost a little weight and it didn't fit right, I just get rid of it and get another outfit. I'd be able to afford that. Even like a gym suit. I mean, it would be custom, custom. Oh my gosh, I
Okay.
want to look like $1,000,000. I do. That's what I'm not showing up to no press conference in a t-shirt and book bag. I'm not doing that. I
I
mean,
mean,
yeah, it's comfortable, but I'm not doing that. I want to look money. I want to be Express Men. I want to be a Men's Warehouse. I want to be all that. I want to wear those tight suits with the one button and sneakers. Woo!
so you'd be like a baseball player. You would come walk around like the baseball players and
No, I'd
the
be dressed
hockey
like
players.
NHL players do because none of them dress down.
Yeah, the hockey.
Not when they travel, they do press conferences. They're all in suits,
Yep,
all of
suited
them.
booted.
I'd be suited and booted. I
Yeah.
just would probably have sneakers on, but I'd have sneakers on that are like dress.
Now, if I had a gig where like a Stephen A. and I
Mhm,
was like in that space, yeah,
mhm.
I'll get suited and booted because the fact that I'm on TV like that, and then the professional setting. I see an anchor man or representing in that nature
Are
suited and
you
booted.
are you are you been watching First Take lately?
Yeah.
Okay, you see, like you're saying, um, you see Stephen A. Smith how he dresses, and some of those other guys dress. I'm not, how they're suited up, and
Yeah.
you see the Morris brothers come on the show.
Yeah, they ain't suiting booting.
No, they're not.
They ain't
No, they're
suiting
not.
booting.
They're wearing their comfortable clothes.
Yeah, they
But
that's
yeah,
yeah.
but for me, it's like, did you bother? I mean, did you even try? That's how I feel. That's how I feel. For me, I'm not gonna be on ESPN for 2 hours and wearing a hoodie. I'm not doing it. I'm not doing that. And they're not the only ones. This guy, Andrew Wentworth from the NFL on Prime doing those Thursday games. He's always got some kind of hoodie on. Always. He's always
Okay.
got. I hate that. I hate that. I
You
hate.
hey, you remind me of them old 60 cats, man. You remind me of the 60 cats, man. Back in the 60s, man, when we had the nice cologne and
I
and
just.
the buttoned up shirts and the slacks, man, and then
What do
kids.
you? Because athletes love their cars, right?
Yeah.
What do you think of a Rolls Royce
Hmm.
pulls up and then a guy in a white t-shirt and a book bag steps out.
I'm like, man, that
And
car.
I'm not talking race because I've seen a whole lot of white guys do this too.
I would just be like, man, that guy got a lot of money. I mean, it's like I get it where you're going with it, but in this day and time, bro, if you stepping out that comfortable, it's like the opposite. It's like, man, your life is so comfortable that you just comfortable all the time. You know what I'm saying?
I get it. I'll just revert back to I think a professional should look like a professional. And to me, that's the look. To me, you should look like money if you're a professional. That's that's just how I feel. That's how I
Okay.
feel. I know that that is not a universal opinion, but it is mine.
Okay.
It
And
is mine.
you free to have it.
Thank you. Appreciate that. All right, let's get to the NBA Finals. So we got the Indiana Pacers, Oklahoma City. I'm gonna
Mm-hmm.
be honest with you, and I don't think I'm really going on a limb. I feel like this is going to be a gentleman's sweep.
Yeah.
I feel like this is going to be Thunder winning game one, winning game two, winning game three, losing game four to win the championship
Back at home.
at OKC game five. And I could see in those 5 games, I'm going to picture 2 blowouts where
Yeah.
OKC wins by 25 or more.
Yeah.
And
Well,
they'll be up by 20 in the second quarter, which will make those 2 games unwatchable. Unwatchable.
the odds are them, I think, is -600 at this point to win the chip, right?
Mm-hmm.
Um, High odds. If they were to lose this series, would that be considered a major upset?
Oh, yeah. Major. Now I would have to think of would it be the biggest upset?
That's what I was going with. Would it be the
Ooh,
biggest
in
upset?
the finals? Hmm.
Can't name one that
That first one with the Knicks and the Lakers, I think the Lakers were favored, but I don't know if it was that big of a discrepancy.
right.
I'm trying to think of a big one, a big one, a big one. I think the Celtics in '86 were a big favorite over the Houston Rockets.
Was the Golden State team that lost to Cleveland with Durant, were they highly favored that series, or were they
They didn't have Durant. Remember, they broke the record in the regular season. They won, I think, 73 games.
73 and 9? Yeah.
And they were up 3 games to 1, and then Draymond Green got suspended for 2 games.
Yep. Oh
And
yeah, Durant wasn't on that team.
Durant was on OKC. He came the following year.
Following year, okay. Yeah, yep, because that's what the biggest thing was. They said you went to a team that was loaded already.
And
Okay,
the team that beat him in the playoffs that year, the year before.
so Golden State but were they highly favored or
I mean, they were favored. They had won 73 games. They broke the record.
yeah.
I don't know if it's as big as this one. I don't know. I'm trying to think. You know what was a big one? When the Lakers were going for that three-peat in the early 2000s, and played the Nets.
The Nets.
The Lakers were a huge favorite over the Nets, and they swept them. They swept the Nets. And then the Nets came back the very next year to the finals and lost to us.
Lost again, yep.
But that was in 6. Man, I would say the Lakers Nets one was bigger. I think the Lakers Philadelphia one might have been bigger too. The year before.
For discrepancy, yeah, for the odds. Yeah, because Philly wasn't supposed to win at all.
But I think that Nets one, that was a bad one.
Yeah, because they had nobody physically to match up with them. Nowhere.
No, that's when Shaq was at his best.
Yeah.
That's when Kobe was almost at his best, still rising. Yeah, that's when the Nets were winning games, 85-80.
Yeah, you're right.
They weren't scoring a lot.
Yeah, it was a defensive-minded team. Yep.
Defense. Yeah.
And speaking of defense, OKC, man, they are locked in on that side, man. Because you got to think, and I was thinking about the matchups, right? First and foremost, OKC's deep. They've been playing deep all year, right? I think the best acquisition they were able to get was Caruso.
Because that was great. That worked for both teams.
Yeah, it did. far as Caruso and Giddy going to
Giddy.
Chicago,
Yeah.
if they choose to resign him, because he's a free agent, so
Right.
he could get resigned or move on.
Mm-hmm.
Great year for him, bounce back year for him. I just think he brought that kind of grit. You know what I mean? I respect his journey. I definitely respect his journey. He's been on a championship team with the Lakers.
Mm-hmm.
So he brings that. And then for him, the job he did in the playoffs up to this point, with whoever they put him on, especially the Joker, man, for him to be on the Joker with the help, oh man, that was awesome. That was awesome. Um, I don't see no disadvantages on the OKC side where you can exploit them. You got 2 7-footers, right? You got a wing guy. Jalen Williams is playing out. Scottie Pippen. He reminds me of Scottie. Not he's Scottie like. Okay. For anybody get on me and say he's Scottie Pippen, he's Scottie like. Okay. Defense. He rebounds. He can bring the ball up. You can run the offense to him. Scottie Pippen like. You right. You got SGA, which is he's not Jordan, but he's Jordan to that team.
Yeah.
Okay.
He's pretty
He
damn.
averaged 33, silky smooth score. He averaged 33. Okay. Led the league in scoring. The way he does it, and then he brought the mid-range back. You know what I mean? The Rosen, to his credit, is a mid-range guy, right? But SGA is able to switch. It's just I don't see no flaws in his offensive game. He'll post you. He's slicky to the wrist. He flops a lot. He gets hit a lot. Let's be honest.
He's very thin.
He's slim, like Durant, slim, right? But it's like you get that one guy on the court that you can't stop. So what do? You try to be over physical with him. You try to be more physical. That's normally what you do. When you got a guy that you really can't stop, like he can dribble by you, he can post you, he can hit the J on you. You get frustrated as a defender. It's what you start doing. You start muscling him. Now he ain't gonna get the easy one. So Jesse does. He gets a lot of contact when he goes to the paint. He flops. Okay, if you go to the paint, being that he's a thin guy, and you get body, what are you going to do? I'm going to fall. Hey, and if I can sell a couple, cool. It is, they have a flopping rule in the NBA.
Yeah, but
And
they
they
never enforce it.
They have at times.
Not on a star. Never. They can't risk the best player in the league or the league MVP getting in foul trouble because he's flopping. They're not going to do that. That is not in their best interest. You can do that with Vlade Divac, but you can't do that with the first or second best player in the league. You're not going to risk him getting in foul trouble and not being on the court because of flopping. It's BS.
If Indiana was to win this series, or even it would want to be coaching, it'd be because the coach Rick Carlisle out coached the Thunder's coach. I don't see them letting Pascal get off on them. I think it's going to be one of them things where Halliburton might have a big game, but then the rest of the team struggles. Pascal have a big game, rest of the team struggles. All them little players that were getting their thing off, the Nemhars, the Neesmiths, the Bryans coming in hitting buckets, TJ McConnell, all them type of dudes. I think that's going to be a concerted effort defensively to shut them dudes down, shut the role players down, see if your stars can beat us.
What I worry about with the Pacers is Miles Turner. He tries to block every single shot, and he's going to get in foul trouble. You got two big guys.
You got two big guys
on there, and he's going to try and block who's ever down there, and he's going to get himself in foul trouble. And he's going to have to sit with 2 early fouls. He's going to have to sit with 4 fouls. He'll have to sit with 5 fouls, and then he's going to foul out in the middle of the fourth quarter when they're already down by like 8, and now they have nobody on the back end to help them out. That's how I think that's going to go.
I mean, Halliburton has been very efficient as far as the turnover part, not turning the ball
Oh,
over.
he hasn't turned a ball over in what, 3 games or 2 games,
Yeah.
something like that.
But one thing about OKC, they getting them lanes. They getting them lanes, man. They always got a handout in them lanes. So even
Mhm.
when you're driving, there's always a hand swiping at the ball. You know, they rebound very well. They perimeter defense well. They communicate on defense well. And then they got a guy that you just can't stop. You know what I mean? Only way he has a bad game is if he's not aggressive. Like
Mhm.
when he went to Minnesota, that game 3 in
Mhm.
Minnesota, when he wasn't aggressive. I don't know if it's jet lag. I don't know what the heck happened. I just know he ain't come to play that game, right? But then he made up the next game, dropped almost 40 on him? I think he dropped a 40 burger on him.
Great player, man.
He is, man.
Great,
He
great
is.
player.
He is.
He was
Uh,
just a little more. He was a little louder, personality wise. Forget it, man. Sky's the
face the
limit.
league. Face the league.
Sky's the limit.
So I'm with you,
He's.
bro. I got him winning, in, if not 4, definitely 5.
I'm gonna
Uh,
say 5. I'm gonna say Pacers win Game 4. That's it.
and that'll be on their home floor.
Mm-hmm. And then OKC wins in OKC Game 5, and that'll be
Blowout.
that'll be a nice championship for them.
Yes, sir.
That'll be nice. Um, yeah, and I could see SGA being the MVP. I'm trying to think of a way for the Pacers to keep this close.
It would have to be, and
Halliburton,
you can't,
Siakam, they both have to be great.
and you can't play this pace game where you want to run up the floor with them because they have a team that can run with you. The
Yeah.
Knicks didn't have that type of team where you can run with them. So if you take it to a 120 ball game, okay, that's what they do. That's what OKC do.
I think the Pacers, they are good defensively, so they you want to keep it low scoring.
Yeah,
It'll be tempting to run up and down. Don't do it. Don't do it. Like Carlisle's a good coach. He'll have them.
yeah,
He'll maximize what they can do. I just don't think they got the bullets that OKC has.
yeah.
OKC has more, and they're bigger.
And they're bigger.
So, all right,
Okay.
that's the same way. Not going to get too much into it, but the NHL final is a rematch.
It
We know
is.
how it went last year. Florida won the first 3, then Edmonton won the next 3, and then Game 7 was in Florida. Florida took control. To me, both teams are playing better than they did last year.
Yeah,
But
man.
for Edmonton to win, the best player in the world has to play like the best player in the world, which
Yes.
he did not do in the final last year. And they can't be playing from behind in the series. Don't go down 1-0 in Game 1. You know what I'm saying? Like, don't lose Game 1. Don't lose Game 3. They got to win those odd games. They got to win Game 1. They got to win Game 3. They got to win Game 5.
But up to this point in the playoffs, they have lost every game 1.
Yes, they have, and they got to break that trend because against this
Yeah.
team, I don't think you can't go tit for tat because they're always going to be ahead. The best Edmonton's going to do is tie. If they
Yeah.
lose Game 1, they win Game 2, then they're probably going to lose, Game 3. Like Florida's good, man.
They're
Florida's
good.
good. When you got a goaltender like that,
Yeah.
oh, they're good. They know who they are. They got Kachuk, man. They got Kachuk.
Yeah, man. They got
Oh,
a strong team, man. And
yeah.
they are the defending champ. But like you said, Edmonton did take them to 7. They took them to 7.
They took him to 7 after losing the first 3.
They
That's
did.
amazing. That's what's amazing. They were left for dead, and
Yeah.
they won 3 in a row and made it so exciting that Stephen A. Smith went down to Florida to see Game 7 in person.
Yeah.
They led first take. Shannon Sharp, Stephen A. Smith talking Game 7 hockey with BK Subban, okay, who is the guy who's always talking hockey. So you had 3 brothers starting first
Hey,
take
that's
talking
something.
hockey.
Ain't that something, man?
PK Subban. Yep.
Ain't that something, man?
Stephen A. and Shannon Sharp.
Um,
Three of them. Three brothers talking hockey.
Man, if you're looking at the road there, Florida kind of dominated the series, um, all three of their series.
Yes. Yes, they did. Which
Yeah,
happy that they beat up on the Hurricanes because I don't like them. But yeah, I want. I mean, we both want Edmonton.
yeah.
We wanted for Canada, and we want the great. We want the best player in the league to be cemented with a championship.
Indeed, indeed,
That's
indeed. And then the year that they had, and then also the year they had a great year. They started. I remember they came out the gate and went on this crazy winning streak. So,
mm-hmm.
um, they go back to the finals. You know,
Final. Final.
final. Thank you for the correction. Final to go back to
I
the
mean,
NHL final.
it is funny that the NBA says finals with
Yeah.
and the NHL says final.
Yep.
Which one do you prefer?
Oh man, finals because you got multiple games, but then it's the final
See,
game.
I like final because that makes it sound like that's it. Like
Yeah.
this is it. I like final better.
I'm so you saying finals that man, even going to playing Pee Wee ball, we were like we at the finals. Okay.
No,
Yeah,
then say you like finals better.
yeah, finals.
Okay.
I mean, I'm just so used to hearing it. It ain't even really a thought, honestly, of a
Mm-hmm.
preference if I like it or not. It just I'm so used to hearing saying it, not even thinking about it. I just did finals, not even thinking about it.
Mm-hmm.
Look,
So,
so
so so
finals.
so in the NHL final,
Yes.
who do you have and in how many games?
Wow, man, this is a hard one, man. Just because Florida been dominant and man, Edmonton, man, Edmonton. The last Canadian team to win was Montreal, and that was 30 years ago.
Yeah. Montreal Canadiens, 1993. I
You
was
know what? The run they made last year, man. I'm gonna go out on a limb and say Edmonton. I'm gonna say Edmonton.
I want to say Edmonton, but I'm going to say Florida. Florida in 7.
And 7,
Yeah.
man.
Florida in 7. But it won't be no one team wins 3, the other wins 3, and then no, it's going to be like 1-1, 2-2.
3-1.
No, I said 7.
No,
So,
no, 3-1. And then they come back.
no. No, I'm going to say they exchange.
Okay.
It's going to be Florida game 1, Edmonton game 2.
Okay.
Florida game 3, Edmonton game 4. Florida game 5, Edmonton game 6.
Back to Florida.
Back to Florida.
Finish them off.
I finish them off. That's what I think.
Let's go lean.
I will be rooting for Edmonton hard for the reasons I stated, for Canada and for the best player in the league to finally get that.
Yeah.
Finally get to drink from the cup. The greatest trophy in professional sports, in my opinion. If I could hold up one trophy, that would be the one. It'd be the cup.
That's
I'd
a
hold
big
up the cup.
trophy. That's a big trophy.
And my second favorite award isn't even a championship award. If I was in the NFL, I would want the Walter Payton Man of the Year award. That's
Okay.
more than the league MVP, more than Super Bowl MVP, more than the Super Bowl trophy. I mean, I want to win a Super Bowl, but I'm saying like as an individual, like because Walter Payton's my favorite player of all time. Walter Payton Player of the Year. Oh, that means you're not only a great player, but you're like the most charitable player.
Mhm.
I would love that. Ooh, I would love that. All right, let's keep it rolling.
Okay.
NFL. So what I want to talk about is, and we discussed this going into every season, you and I.
Mm-hmm.
There's 7 teams that make it in the NFC. There's 7 teams that make it in the AFC. There's between 4 to 6 new playoff teams every single year.
Yeah.
It's the average. So let's just do NFC.
Okay.
I have two teams that I think are not going to make the playoffs that did, and I got two teams that didn't make the playoffs that I think will. Now, I'm going to start with an obvious one. Detroit is getting hammered this offseason. Hammered. They lost their offensive coordinator. They lost, and not just any kind of offensive coordinator. You know, this guy's a little different. And I'm glad Chicago has him. They lost their defensive coordinator. Jets got him.
Just got him. Yep.
8 coaches in total are gone. They lost their starting center, who just retired yesterday, in Frank Ragnow. And they also lost in free agency, what's his name? Kevin Zeiler or something. He went to Tennessee as a starting guard. So they don't, up the middle, they're either going to start a rookie who didn't play center in college. He played guard, and now he's going to have to play center. Or they're going to move the worst guy on their offensive line, who was a guard. They're going to move him to center. So right up the middle right now, it ain't looking good for Detroit. Hutchinson is coming back from a bad injury, and then their other starting defensive end is a free agent that they haven't signed yet.
It reminds me of Philly when they came at that Super Bowl, when they went to the Super Bowl and lost
2 years ago.
Kansas City, and they lost Steichen to Indianapolis.
And the other Arizona.
To Seattle. Was it Seattle? Arizona. Gannon went to Arizona. So you lost, and then we seen what kind of year they had. It was a makeshift. You're trying to make it work in-house, and it just didn't go well. Like you said, that's a lot, man. You lost the guy that made your offense explosive. So the think tank, and then Aaron Glenn made your defense manageable. I'm not gonna say it was dominant defense, but they were manageable.
Well, they didn't have a bunch of great players, so the fact that they were a pretty good defense, and especially after Hutchinson got injured and they were still pretty good, just shows that the kind of job that Aaron Glenn did. But the thing is, Campbell, although he brought in and that that culture and all that, he's not an X's and O's guys. He's more like a Mike Tomlin, like a cheerleader, sideline guy, voice in the room, leader of men, things like that. But he's not, he's going to have to get other guys to replace those guys. It's not like Andy Reid, like he can go through offensive coordinators recycling him because it's his offense. It's Andy Reid's offense. Bill Belichick was the same thing on defense. It was his defense. Campbell was a tight end in the NFL. He doesn't really specialize, on either side of the ball. He's just, the leader. And, why they won 15 games last year. And they're in the toughest division.
Yeah.
I mean, they're a big reason why they're in the toughest division. But Minnesota, to me, if JJ can play, they're stacked. They're stacked on both sides of the ball.
Yeah.
Green Bay just stays the same.
Yeah.
They're still a 10-win team.
Yeah. With Matt LaFleur there. That's what you're going to get. At least, like you said, at least 10 wins with them.
You're going to get 10 or 11 wins. And then we're going to see with Chicago. We're going to see. I'm not going to – I feel confident they'll do better than 5 games. I feel confident in saying that. I'm not going to say that they're going to win 10 like I did last year. I feel like they're going to win 8 or 9. Maybe they surprise me. But – an improvement's an improvement. I want to see an improvement, and I want to see the arrow pointing up. So I have Detroit not making the playoffs.
Okay.
This is June the 3rd. Okay. And I have Washington not making the playoffs because I felt like Washington overachieved last year.
It definitely did. And it's
And now there's tape on the
tape on
board.
leading. You know?
Now everybody's got the whole off season to see what this guy did.
Yeah, yeah. I'm in agreement with you there. I think that um sophomore years are normally hard because the fact that now we got a whole season of tape on you, your tendencies, and these defensive coordinators get paid a lot of money to take away what you do best, right? So I think it's gonna be a down year in Detroit. I still think they can make the playoffs though, because they still
I
got
and I'm just predicting that they
yeah.
won't because I think there's a few teams that are going to be coming up. I think Arizona is coming up.
I like what they did off defensively. Um and again is starting to get his we'll see if he get his identity,
Mhm.
because he's a defensive coach, minded coach. So we can see if he got that defense because their biggest thing last year was they gave up a lot. They scored a lot, but they gave a lot much more, to the offense. So if they are able to tighten up on defense, especially with the division the way it is, because you're competing against Seattle, which we're gonna see how that works with Sam Darnold being out there. I
Mhm.
think he's a system guy. I think that that system in Minnesota works well, and
Mhm.
we will see. I don't see Seattle making the playoffs.
I
Okay,
don't either, but they're going to be 8, 9, 9
I
and
give
8.
them that.
Be right around
Yeah,
500.
around that. Yeah, I give them around that around little under 500, right?
Man, have you seen Marvin Harrison Jr. lately?
No,
He looks like he ate Marvin Harrison Jr. He is yoked.
is he?
Oh my gosh. He looks like he put on 30 pounds.
Man, is he looking like Larry Fitzgerald?
He looks bigger than Larry Fitzgerald.
Jeez, I wonder if he
He
gonna.
look, do you remember David Boston
Yes, I do.
playing for Arizona and
Do.
the Chargers? How big he was that they
Yeah,
were thinking about making him a tight end. That's how he looks right now.
man. I
He
wonder.
looks gigantic.
So he trying to be so man physical at the point of contact.
He looks like Megatron big.
And if Kyler Murray could get back to the Kyler Murray that he was prior to the contract talk about all the stipulations in the contract, I believe Arizona could compete this year. Um, they showed the flashes last year.
They showed flashes, a
No
little
flashes.
more consistency.
Yeah.
And if San Francisco isn't great again, if they're like kind of subpar like they were last year,
Yeah.
then Arizona's got a shot because Arizona beat San Francisco, I think,
Yeah.
both times.
I think the two, if anything out the West, I got Arizona. I got Arizona and the Rams. I definitely got the Rams.
Oh yeah.
The Rams. I got the Rams winning the division. So I got the Rams, and I can see Arizona taking a leap. So that's two right there. And Philly, I got Philly and Dallas. It's all down.
Dallas.
It's gonna come down to the coaching for me in Dallas. But I think we got the pieces to make some noise. So I got Philly and Dallas. I think it's gonna be another down year for the Giants. Um, I think defensively they'll be better. I think defensively they'll be better. But I do Carter and
They better. They also got Scattaboo.
Scatterboo for so they got a running back. So yeah.
Go with the 1-2 punch, Scattaboo and Tracy. Bam
Who else?
bam. Bam bam.
So
He was a rookie
your
last year.
division, I got Green Bay, Minnesota. Possibly Chicago, especially y'all get rolling.
It might only be Minnesota for me right now.
Oh yeah, you don't think Green Bay will make it?
I'm 50-50 on it. I think they'll have a winning record, but I'm 50-50 on it. I'm kind of thinking Atlanta might make a push. It might be Atlanta and the Bucks coming out of the South.
Yeah.
You got to remember they're going to get 2 shots at New Orleans, so that's 2
Yeah,
wins.
yeah, that's 2 wins
That's
right
2
there.
automatic wins.
Yeah. And they'll probably split with Carolina.
Yeah.
You got
Okay.
I like Atlanta. I think Atlanta, especially Penix, because they don't have a lot of tape on Penix. If Penix could go out there and deliver, and the defense, because they went on the defense. If the defense could be marginally better than they were last year to complement the offense got weapons, man. And and a quarterback that can get you the ball, man. Yeah, I can see
And,
Atlanta. I can see
and
Atlanta.
you know what's good with Atlanta? He didn't put out a whole lot of tape because he only
No,
played at the end of the year.
that's
So,
what I'm saying. So it's like his rookie season, kind of.
and he has the whole offseason now to be the guy, the number one
Yeah.
guy. He's not splitting reps with Kirk.
No, no.
So
And he was confident. I mean, he's a confident. You see what he did in Washington when he
he's
stepped
got
up.
to stay healthy.
Yeah.
He's had some bad injuries. He's got to stay healthy. But I think Arizona, Atlanta, Dallas, those are teams that two of those teams I think are going to make the playoffs.
Yeah.
So that's what I'm thinking. And I know you like Dallas. I know you like Arizona. So I guess those are your teams.
Yes, sir.
All right. So real quick, I just want to bring up something because I just think it's important. This guy by the name of John Brenkus, who used to run Sports Science on ESPN, which he eventually sold the rights to, made a pretty penny. He had a battle with depression that really only came to light a couple of years ago. I actually didn't know about this, but he unfortunately passed away this past weekend. What they're calling it is he lost his battle with depression. I think we know what happened. I think that's another way of saying
Yeah.
committed suicide without saying it. I just want to keep him, let everybody know, if they don't already know, that mental health is a real thing. Please don't make fun of it. Don't ignore it. There are signs. If someone that you care about is showing signs that they need some kind of help, please be supportive and remind them that the best investment they can make is in themselves.
Mm-hmm.
And that helps everybody. Everybody. So please, it's a real thing. You have to, let's not make it a debate if it's a disease or not a disease. You have to treat it like a disease.
Mm-hmm.
That's what you have to do. Same thing with an alcoholic. You treat it. You treat it because you don't want to say after the fact, like, oh, I didn't know and I could have done something. There are signs. Please read up on it because we all know somebody that's suffering from mental illness. And listen, it might be closer to home than you want to admit. So
Mm-hmm.
let's not put the blinders on with that because this guy died at 54 years old, and things like that just shouldn't happen. So, and real quick with WWE, they released R-Truth. They are not re-signing Carlito, so they're both off the show now. And the Money in the Bank is picking up steam. People are qualifying for the Money in the Bank, which is the next big one, which I think is in 2 weeks, something like that. So, so we'll be talking more about that as people qualify for the Money in the Bank. A couple of girls have already qualified, so I always like Money in the Bank because you never know, when they're going to cash it in or something like that. So it's pretty
Yeah.
cool. It's fun.
Yeah.
Always walking around with the suitcase. So, so that's it. Anything else you want to add, brother, before we go off?
Oh man, no man. I can't wait till these playoffs kick the finals and final kickoff. Um, and then man, just health, wealth, peace of mind, man. And hey man, tune in, subscribe, like our channel, comment, and we're open for anything you have to say, man. Because we put a lot of time in this thing, man, every week to give y'all this stuff, man, and we're gearing up for NFL, baseball, all that stuff, man. So you need to tune in with us, man. That's all I got to say.
That's what's up. So I want to thank everybody for tuning in. Catch us next Tuesday at 9:30. And then anytime you want to do a replay, we are on the channel. That is the Box Office Buzz channel, 302. From my main man, Larry Loper, I'm Gil and Larry. Thanks for tuning in to the What's Good with Gil and Larry podcast. We'll catch you next week. Enjoy the playoffs, and we'll talk about it on Tuesday. Deuces.
My man, Superman.
Captain America.
You the Falcon one?